Thanks for watching my dad's channel, CryptoMedia. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Welcome to the first episode of the CryptoMedia podcast. Let's get into it. I'm chatting with my friend Belal, Miah, and we've known each other through Facebook Messenger and talking a little bit over the past year or two. And I've really been following his journey with Blockchain Training Academy. And I haven't hopped on until more recently, actually. And I've been really diving into the HODL list and all of the amazing value that he's adding with this channel and this course. And many courses, actually, there's so many courses. So Belal, welcome to the show. I know it's kind of a cross show, so I just wanted to introduce you. And thanks for coming on.
Hey, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So for my viewers who've never heard of you and haven't heard of Blockchain Training Academy, just tell my guys a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. How are you all? So basically, I've stumbled across this amazing technology back in 2013. A good friend of mine, a childhood friend, introduced me to blockchain in a very weird way because I went to London to basically go for an interview for a job. I was in between jobs. And I was staying at a hotel. I called him over, told him to kind of come over. And he goes, look, man, I got to show you something. I got to show you this video, but you can't tell anyone. You can't tell my friends. You can't tell your friends, nobody. It's just between you and me. And I thought, okay, let's hear it. Let's see what you got. And he showed this video about blockchain. And it was basically a video created by Cointerra. So they were like one of the first companies to do the basically manufacture the ASIC machines for mining Bitcoin. And the video was really cool. It was actually quite amazing. It took me a few minutes to understand it, but it didn't really make it too complicated. It broke it down really well. And I understood it as these machines that we could buy and basically run to create money. It was like a money-making machine. And I was like, right. What? And what I really liked about it was the fact that you could take ownership, your control of your own finance, your own money. You were creating the money of the future. And as I started to dive into the research and everything, I just said, yeah, man, what do you want me to do? How do I get involved? Mm-hmm. So he said, basically, look, there's these ASIC miners that we need to buy, and they're about 5K. So how about we, put some money together and get one of these? So I think I put about 3K in. He put 2K in, and we ordered these ASIC machines. But that was back in 2013. That was like at the beginning of 2013, and there was a massive delay because you had to go through these there was like a batch. We were in the second batch, and it's supposed to arrive around in a month or two, but it didn't, and it delayed. So basically, ended up wanting to cancel. I said, look, I want a refund. You guys, by the time you guys send me the machine, the difficulty is going to go up, and I won't be able to. It won't be profitable for me. But what they did was they said, look, we can give you a refund, but how about if we send you two? So in the end, what they did was they sent us two ASIC machines. He kept one, I kept one, and we started mining. So back in 2013, I was mining Bitcoin. And I did have another job, and basically I wanted to change that job. I was working as a corporate trainer. My previous job to that was as a BBC journalist. So I was always into media and technology and everything, but continued this day job. And in 2014, I thought, you know what, I can't take this working 9 to 5 and also running the family business as well, 7 days a week. So I quit the day job, and I was trying to figure out how to make money online like a lot of people do. So I was basically on Facebook trying to figure out what people were doing, and Facebook started their first Facebook Live at that time. So I started going live talking about the usual personal development stuff. But I realized by 2016, a lot of people were talking about Bitcoin. So my journey really started then of educating people, because like a lot of us, I trusted somebody who was a trader. I never traded my Bitcoin. I was mining and holding. Yeah. I trusted somebody, and I lost because he was basically a scammer. So that really kind of pushed me towards helping people understand the tech and being cautious and not falling for these traps. And that's it really. For the next 4 years, I've just been, educating people. And now from one cryptocurrency course, we have the academy with over 1,200 blockchain enthusiasts. So that's it, really. That's in a nutshell. That's how it all happened.
Sorry, you kind of cut out there for a sec. There's 1,200 individual courses?
No. 1,200 members of the academy. Yes.
Members. Okay, yes. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I love seeing your posts regularly on Facebook. It's like, welcome this person to the academy, welcome this person, and you're always doing that. So it's really exciting stuff. So what have you found has been like the most breakthrough thing that made you realize like blockchain is here to stay? Like my money can be trusted in these projects. I have, like, for my family and stuff, I can put a majority of my savings into blockchain tech, into digital assets. Kind of what was the click moment for you where you're like, yeah, this is the real deal and DeFi is taking over, decentralized finance is the way of the future?
I think it's a progress. It's a process you need to go through. I mean, we all go through this process of learning. For me, I was actually going into some of my old wallets last night. One of them was Peercoin, another one was Litecoin. So I found these files, the actual files that were sitting on my hard drive for a long time since 2014, and I thought, okay, did I actually spend them or do I still have them? So I had to basically install the wallets and go through the whole history of, like, of the blockchain. It was like synchronizing, and it was showing me all the different transactions I made. And at some point I had over 1,000 Litecoin, and I had to wait and realize that, actually I spent about 500 on something else. And then, and in the end, I didn't have any, right? So that was a massive learning curve, going from having so much crypto, so much Bitcoin. I had, like, at some point I had over 50 Bitcoin, and it was amazing. But because of the dollar value at that time, I didn't respect it in the same way, because what happens, we're all human. What happens is we get into this kind of impatience. We want to make the money quick because of things going on in our lives. And for me, it was like, I need to buy a house. I need to sort myself out, And 16 Bitcoin, I remember looking at my wallet and thinking, 16 Bitcoin, that's not enough to buy a house. Because at that time, it was about $140 a Bitcoin. And you get impatient. And when somebody knows you have Bitcoin, they can take advantage of you. And that's when you go through that learning curve and you lose money, because you're trusting the wrong people. So I went through all this. And now I've got a lot of lessons learned, and I'm still here because I believe in it. And what I believe in is not to get rich quick. What I now believe in is that you have to follow a strategy. You have to understand who you are and how you react, as like, what's your mindset like? Because if you have that mindset where, you're impatient, right? If you're going to trade, you're going to have big problems, because when you're trading, you have to be patient. You have to stick to your strategy. You have to know when to get in, when to get out, and everything. And it can have like a mental effect on you as well. If you're not careful, you can start ignoring people in your family. Say, hey, stay away. I'm really busy right now, because you're panicking. You're going to lose money. So it can affect your life. And if you do lose money, it can affect it really badly. So you need to understand where you're at in the journey. And for me, what happened, it wasn't like one point where I realized this is what I want to do. It was the whole journey that I realized how the market was, that there's a lot of scammers out there, the ICO craze that happened in 2017, that it's not just like individual scammers, but organized, people who are basically got $5,000 or 10,000 who are going to create an ICO and scam people left, right, and center. So this whole process of going through that journey, a lot of us are going through it. And I think from someone like myself, what I can give is basically being a pioneer in that sense from 2013. I'm not like a early adopter from 2010 or 11 or anything like that, but been in it long enough, Justin, to basically understand that patience is so important, and also your due diligence, your research. And what really got me thinking is my own personal growth,
Yep.
parallel to basically being fascinated in this space, to be able to develop my own skills and understand what I want to do. So I have always been an entrepreneur. I've always
Yep.
had that part of me. So I'm thinking business, but I'm also thinking how to help people. And I think if
Mhm.
people realize it's not about you, it's about other people, then
Yeah.
you realize actually the whole blockchain, the whole blockchain in itself, the idea of helping people works with blockchain, because you're taking control from one single entity to basically giving everyone that control. It's
Yeah.
like it's democracy, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's about mindset, really, and that mindset shift really worked for me, I think. I don't know
Mhm.
if I answered your question, but
Oh, that's great. And I think the money will come with the mindset change, right? Because you're adopting a new worldview basically by learning about and investing in blockchain tech, right? You're not just because you have to kind of sever ties with the traditional banking system. At some point, you have to be like, literally, this money's worthless.
Mm,
Like
of
fiat
course.
currency,
Yeah.
the British pound, the American, the euro, all that is worthless compared to the possibility of what blockchain has the power to do in the next
Yeah.
5, 10, 20 years, right?
Yeah. I think what it is if a lot of us, we don't have financial education, it's not taught at schools.
Hmm.
And if you go back to how money was created, the history of money, it's quite fascinating. How the barter system was, and then
Yeah.
how China had the first paper money, and then like the whole process of like even money that was backed by gold, and it was like a certificate, knowing that you've got gold
Yeah.
stored somewhere, and this is your certificate that, hey, accept this because I do have gold backing it up. Now that doesn't exist. So
No.
what you're basically now trusting is a piece of paper that's really worthless unless somebody accepts it. And
Hmm.
right now everyone's accepting it because nobody realizes what's happening. But if you look at Venezuela, if you look at what happened in Greece, people don't really have control of the money. And if you're saving money right now, you got to think about, if you don't understand inflation and you're saving money,
Yeah.
you got to understand inflation. You got to understand what's happening right now
Yeah.
with the economy and everything, and where we're going. We're not in the industrial age anymore. We're in the
No.
digital age, and the future is basically all digital currencies. Look at central bank digital currencies that are being created right now.
Yeah.
The digital dollar, the Chinese are on it, but they're basically going to create their own digital currencies for their jurisdiction, their area. They don't want to be, kind of having to depend on the dollar anymore.
Yeah.
Russia, China, India, these superpowers are going to do it, and it's a good thing for us because it will open up people to embracing digital currencies. But
Mhm.
people need to understand decentralization. That is very important,
Yeah.
to understand how important it is to keep your data private and be in control of your data, and how valuable your data is as well. And I
Yeah.
don't think people understand that. I think people don't understand how valuable data is. At the end of the day, Bitcoin is data.
Yeah. So what would you say, like, so decentralized finance, there's a lot of projects out there. I was looking at your HODL list earlier today and just seeing all the ones that I knew like a little bit about, but I haven't invested in yet and didn't know about. But what are, like, say 2 or 3 of your favorite decentralized projects that you're just really excited about the headway they're making and the traction they're making in the world? Because you hear about, Theta Network partnering with Google, and even like Engine Coin partnering with Minecraft and things like that coming out in the
Mm.
news very regularly, and Chainlink, its partnerships and Tezos and stuff. So, what's like your favorite number one or number two project that you're really really excited about hodling and learning more about?
Okay. I think again, I've changed the way I think over the years.
Yeah,
Before, I was very attached to Bitcoin because I was mining Bitcoin, so I had a personal attachment to it. Especially those Bitcoins that I mined, they were unique to me because I mined them. I put them into that circulation, so I was
yeah,
very attached to them. So when I lost them, it felt like I lost a family member. And it sounds weird right now, but that's how I felt, for Bitcoin. But over time, I realized that yes, Bitcoin does have value dollar wise, and it was the first decentralized digital currency, cryptocurrency. However, from that, what started, whoever Satoshi Nakamoto was, right, whether it was Adam Back, whether it was, I don't think it's Craig Wright, but
Right.
it's like whoever it was, it doesn't matter. What we have now is a technology, and it's open source, so anybody can create, and that was the whole purpose. Otherwise, Satoshi wouldn't have had it open source. So he opened up a technology, and people could now work with that. He gave you the tools. Now you go and create a better world. Now, what happened at the beginning was obviously you had like Charlie Lee with Litecoin and Peercoin with the first proof of stake. You had Namecoin. You had all these like projects, but then you had like a massive increase of the amount of projects. And what you saw, I could actually see in 2015. This is a long answer to your question. Sorry.
Okay.
So in 2015, there was a few crowd sales here and there, and I could actually, when you're that early in the space and there's not many people, there's not many it's not like how it is now. It was just a few forums here and there. It's easy to grasp what's going to happen next, and I could see that you needed about a couple of years. This was back in 2015. You needed a couple of years for these developers to work on whatever they're working on and put out projects. So a couple of years, I can remember thinking that. And a couple of years later, it was 2017. But the problem was that the amount of projects that were out there, it was a money grab. It was a money grab, and it captured people's imagination. People heard about how people could make money from this and just went crazy. And it obviously, SEC would get involved. Obviously, regulations will come into place, and it needs to, because although there is decentralization, you can't let the actual model needs to work. You can't just kind of say, hey, we're going to do scalability, security, privacy, and everything. There is something called a trilemma, where you have to focus on privacy, security, and basically compromise on something else like scalability. And so you got different projects. Now, Ethereum really killed it. Vitalik really killed it with the Ethereum project, obviously with the DAO attack and everything. At that time, not many people were that know about it now were involved. But from that, you had the first split, but it headed towards enterprise, okay? Headed towards like mass adoption through enterprise. And that was, at that time I was thinking, I remember certain people was thinking, oh, it's getting centralized. It was like, we're against the banks, we're against the government. So that, people didn't quite understand what was happening. And I think what we're seeing now is, yes, we need to have control over our own money, but you can't ignore the government. You can't ignore central banks. You can't ignore corporates and enterprise. They're going to be around. But what we have is over 2 billion people unbanked. What we have is real world issues, lack of trust in government. In certain governments, there's lots of problems. Electorals, so when you're basically voting for somebody to come into power, is that voting system legit? Are you basically, how do you know that it hasn't been tampered with? Well, blockchain, the values of blockchain, if you understand blockchain, you know that it's immutable, you know that it's transparent. There's a lot of values. But the thing is, right now, the companies that are working on blockchain, back in 2017, the ones that basically started getting to blockchain and spent millions on blockchain developers, they just had money to throw, and they really didn't have a problem to solve. They just wanted blockchain to be a part of what they do.
Yeah, I just wanted to do a project for the sake of making.
Yeah, so we went through that process, and I think that it's like being a soldier with like the scars of battle. You've been through 2017. If you come out of that and you're still here and you're still creating a podcast like yourself, and you're still doing this kind of stuff.
I lost Bitcoin in 2017 too, due to USI tech. I'm sure everyone's heard about that.
Exactly. I mean, there's a lot of people who just lost it. But when you come out of this, what you then realize is you see a bigger picture. You see what's happening right now. And I think I've been focused on the academy for the last year or so, just building it up. And, to build a business and to build an academy and build a community, it takes work. And that's the whole year gone there. But now I've been researching and I've been looking at projects for the last few months in lockdown and everything.
Yeah, you've had time to research, right?
Yeah, exactly. Plenty of time. So what I've realized is there's a massive shift in what's happening right now. So the first thing is that enterprise needs blockchain. They understand blockchain. They understand what it is. but it's not easy to adopt. It's not easy to apply to their business. So the problem there, you always have to look at the problem that needs solving. So the problem there is you don't have like coders. Coders are very, very expensive. You basically, especially somebody who knows blockchain, to actually apply blockchain to your company and make it efficient so it works for your company, you need to have a gateway. You need to have a bridge, something that makes it really easy. So one of the projects I'm really excited about is Unibright. Okay, so Unibright basically does that. It's like blockchain in a box. They make it so easy for enterprise to adopt blockchain, and that's one project. Okay, so I talked about Ethereum. So Ethereum as a platform with smart contracts. First, you had Bitcoin, which is programmable money, but then you had Ethereum, which is smart contracts that are codable, scriptable, and from there you have a problem with smart contracts, and the problem is real world data coming into smart contracts, and that is solved by oracles. So oracles are basically data feeds that takes in data from the real world. And if you've been in this space for the last year or so, you probably heard of Chainlink, right? So Chainlink has been around and it's been doing so many partnerships. It's unbelievable how many partnerships you hear of. That's another one. Okay, so Chainlink, because of the fact that they have a real use case and so many projects are basically using them, it's unbelievable. Chainlink is there. So you have Band Protocol, which is basically trying to do what Chainlink's doing. You have others as well, and Tello, for example, but that's another one.
But there's very few Oracle networks, right? That there's not very many.
Not many, no. So Chainlink is another one that I'm really excited about. Not because, again, this is not financial advice. Please do your own research. But these are projects that you don't say, oh, Belal said, CryptoMedia said this is going to go up and I'm going to be a millionaire. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it's a fascinating project that has a real use case. That if you're going to go for a project that has less risk, then you want to go for something that is solving a real problem in the future, because you're investing for the future. So that's another one. And then you've mentioned the engine. Well, recently they had a module for Minecraft, and the gaming industry is a real pathway into blockchain, into mass adoption, and it just makes sense. You've got like virtual currencies in a virtual space. It makes sense. So engine is another project that if you're a gamer, you need to pay attention to what engine is doing. Also Theta.tv, you can actually watch people play games. You can play games and you can actually earn Theta tokens as well.
Is that the same as that's the Theta network, right?
Yeah. Like so Theta.tv.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can, it's basically you're watching people play Fortnite or some other game, and
I was just wondering how you earn tokens other than having a node on the network and stuff. You have like 10,000 Theta to have your own to stream your own broadcast of your internet signal and stuff. Basically, you provide your bandwidth for other people in other countries to beef up their bandwidth and video signal, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of these projects have staking. So you can actually stake. You can be a node yourself if you've got enough tokens, or be in a pool and earn. Okay, so you probably earn more than what a bank gives you in the long term. If you believe in the, always go in the project if you believe in it. There's no point going in there if you don't, because what you're going to do is you're going to wait for it to go up in price, and then it's not going to make you happy, and then you're going to start talking negative about it, which is basically affecting your own investment in a negative way.
So the biggest thing I think of recently, Belal, is so VeChain. I'm kind of wanting to FOMO more into VeChain because it's gone up quite a bit, but just hearing the partnership with Bayer Pharmaceuticals this last week. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did. Yes, VeChain. There are some projects that I've been focusing on for the past couple of years, like Cosmos, VeChain, Cardano. Most of my community know that I talk about these, so I don't. I've been looking at different projects and thinking about
for sure
different ones, but VeChain is definitely on the order list. It's definitely one that is big in supply chain. Definitely one to watch. I think when you're an investor, you need to do your research. You need to make sure that you're actually interested. If you're not interested in the supply chain, right? If you're not interested in like how supply chains work, and you're investing in VeChain, it doesn't make sense to me. you need to understand what the project's about and what they're going to
Right.
do, and you need to contribute your ability whatever you can, because
Yeah.
it's beneficial for everyone.
And the cool
So
thing I love Belal is, like, I was talking to a friend on the phone, one of my best friends, Paul. He was saying, he's like, Justin, I only invest in things that I can understand. And I'm like, that
yeah,
makes sense. I'm like, but like, do you understand a mutual fund? Like 100%. Do you understand a 401k? Like, do you understand what, when you give the bank your money, where it's going, how it's allocated, how much the shareholder versus the client cut is? Do you
yeah,
understand any of those concepts? And he's like, no. So I think the
yeah,
beautiful about, peer-to-peer consensus and blockchain and distributed ledger and all that tech is that we can just choose to like research and watch YouTubers, go to academies online and learn, and go to the founders' websites, go to tezos.com or .org or whatever, and learn about these projects, because these companies are so transparent with what they're doing, and as
mm,
well as the chains of information are transparent too within blockchain.
yeah.
So how do you speak to that? Like if somebody's like on the line and they're saying like, I've got money that's just dwindling out in a 401k if they're in the States, or I don't know what you guys have in England, but
Yeah.
they've got money sitting there and it's not doing anything for them. They're worried about
Mhm.
negative interest rates. Like if they have a few $100 or $1,000, like what would you do if you had $1,000 right now and you were like, I'm new to blockchain. I don't want to get scammed. What should I do with it?
I think the first thing you should do is basically educate yourself. All right.
Mhm.
So invest in yourself before you start going and starting to invest in projects. First thing you need to do is make sure you have the education. So invest as in, obviously, there's plenty of videos out there, YouTubers, and everyone's creating content. But the problem with that is there's a lot of content, too much content that is overwhelming. For somebody who's new, it can be very overwhelming and they can listen to the wrong people and get scammed, right? So the first thing you need to do is find your home, like be a part of a community that you can trust. Um, Make sure you feel at home with the people surrounded
Yeah.
with you. You know that they're all kind of the right mindset again. The second thing that you need to do is do your research into different projects and be patient and think, okay, what is actually happening? Look into the history and look at what's happening. So enterprise is one. Okay, enterprise adoption, like partnership with SAP and Microsoft Azure and all this stuff. These are like good things to look at. And then you look at like what are the problems of the current technology that you have with blockchain, like smart contracts. What is a smart contract? Understand that first. So it's like an agreement written in code that is basically automated. So what is the problem with that? The problem with that is oracles. You need like data feeds. So who's solving that? Chainlink. Okay, so Chainlink's going to be around. Who are they partnering with? Then you look into that. So
Mhm.
that's the route you take, and then you're whatever money that you've got, then when you're putting it down, you're putting it down in something solid. But then if you want to make it work for you, you want to stake. All right. So
Yeah.
staking means you put the tokens, lock it up, and then it gives you a revenue. Now, when it comes to
Yeah.
DeFi, decentralized finance, there are many staking platforms. There are many projects like Celsius Network. I interviewed the architect, the solutions architect, a couple of weeks ago. That's a great project too.
Yeah.
If you want to basically lend, or if you want to take out loans, okay, or if you want to just
Right.
stake it and earn, right? So you need
Yeah.
to look at these projects and also what's coming. Like we've been through the ICOs, we've been through those kind of stuff, but now security tokens, we've heard a lot of things about security tokens. That's going to be the next big thing. But
Right.
tokenization is very cool. Okay, that's what Ethereum did with the RC20 tokens. You basically, tokenization was the big thing, right? But now the market, the demand for tokenization is going to shrink, and it's going to go more towards DeFi, decentralized finance. That's where the billions are going to
Yeah.
be pumped into in the next few years. But still,
Right.
tokenization is, if you can do it well, there is a huge demand for it, like tokenizing athletes and buildings and real estate and everything like that. So there
Yeah.
is a company, basically LCX. They're launching, I think, I don't know if they've already launched it, but basically it's an exchange for securities and it's tokenization.
Yeah.
And they've got Wesley Snipes, so he's been tokenized through them. So that is something to look into. Then, so that's LCX, by the way. Then
LCS.
you LCX, yeah,
They're
and
not. They haven't launched yet, or they have?
You can actually buy the token if you want to buy the token, but again, it's not financial advice. But
No.
check out their website, see what it's about, do your research, read the white paper, stuff like that first.
Yeah.
Then you have a cardiac, I think it's cardiac chain, okay, and that's going to be huge in Vietnam. Cardio Chain is going to be huge in Vietnam. They got like government on board. They got like business on board, like I think like the media companies, and they basically already have a platform where they're using a real product, for trading and not trading. Sorry, I'm not sure if it's a betting, but it's a sports. It's esports basically.
Esports.
So
Okay.
esports. So they get into esports, but also there's a lot around media companies and everything, and they got like many people who are going to find it really easy to get into that project. I am actually in the middle of researching that one, so I don't know enough about it, but it's the 20-30% that I know about it. It's very exciting because the people who are in the team, like the main people, are all from Google. So that's the things that you want to look at, like what is the credentials.
Yeah, who are the executives, who are the founders, the directors, and
exactly. So that's so I've mentioned Chainlink, I've mentioned Unibright, Cardio Chain, also LCX and Engine. So these are some of the ones I'm looking at right now.
So is there a crossover between Unibright and Chainlink? Are they kind of working together a bit? I heard there was kind of a relationship there.
They're part of the Ethereum enterprise, so they're part of the alliance. So they will form. You could say the bolts in the bigger system that are for enterprise. So they will always be kind of working together in some form or another. They solve different problems, but they will be there. So I'm actually interviewing QuantStamp tomorrow. Some of you may remember QuantStamp from 2017. They audit smart contracts, so there is a real use case there for them because they're auditors of smart contracts. So what I want to find out really is like when blockchain becomes really easy for enterprise to adopt and they don't have to do all the coding for smart contracts, how are they going to fit in with auditing? Do they still audit? How does that work? So that's what I'm trying to find out tomorrow. So it's all about learning, even at this stage after how many years, like since 2013, 7 years, I'm still learning all the time.
And I think the cool thing is that the whole paradigm of learning in blockchain is like, in the traditional mindset of banking, like learning ends when you're done high school, when you're done college, you get a job, you make money, and then you just assume that it takes 40 years to, have enough money to retire for the next 40 years, right? Yeah. But this whole paradigm of blockchain is like, you actually start your learning and you start your education journey in financial freedom and whatever, financial literacy and stuff into blockchain.
Exactly.
It's not an end road. It's like it's an on ramp to educating yourself into a totally new worldview. So
the world has changed. I mean, if you look at the YouTubers right now, there's young kids making YouTube videos and earning millions, right? So they don't have to wait till they basically graduate or anything to start earning. They're actually, the parents are helping them. They're doing like reviews on toys and they're making money. They basically embraced technology. They've embraced the internet and they're using it to the max. So a technology that's been around, the internet that's been around since the 90s has not, we may think it's matured, but we have not even scratched the surface of what is possible with the internet. We're just realizing now with like what we're doing right now with live streaming, even now with live streaming, it's not perfect, right? How about when we go into VR technology and when you can actually be like a hologram in a person's living room, and do this talk. So we are heading that way and the technology is there.
Yeah.
But what people need to realize is if you're looking at how to basically make those choices that's going to change your life, then you need to think out the box. You need to think ahead of your time.
Right.
And you need to use some imagination. Like if in the 90s, you could see what social media was going to be. If you could even imagine social media, like when you saw MySpace and you thought, okay, MySpace, I can see this is like, the first baby steps towards something huge.
Yeah.
And all you need is the right people around you. And through networking, through connecting with people, you could have the right people around you. That's what Mark Zuckerberg did. He invited people to his dorm room and he started up a company. Started up a project. You have to start with something and build upon it. And I think blockchain really helps people to do that because they're not having to depend on governments, on banks. They can form their own bank. They can form their own. They can raise money, crowd sales, whatever. But you need to have the right vision and you need to be solving a problem.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, I think we'll wrap up there. That I feel you added so much value to both of our viewers and listeners, Belal. So thank you so much for coming on the show today for my first episode. It's so amazing to talk to you and to hear your journey thus far. And I can't wait to hear more of your story and to get to know you more in the coming weeks and months and get to know the Academy more as well. So where can people find you? Where can people check out the Blockchain Academy?
Okay, so I think you're going to put a link in the description. So if anybody wants to, so click on the link to get into the Academy. If you need the education, I highly recommend because we do have so much value there. It's unbelievable. We have a blockchain technology course that is going to take you from beginner to deep into blockchain. We've got crypto trading course. We've got courses on NFTs, non-fungible tokens, garbage pail kids. Remember the garbage pail kids? They're all NFTs now, so you can actually, they've gone tops with Wax. They're partnered, and you can actually own these NFTs now, so collectibles on the blockchain. We cover that as well. We have an amazing community. We have what you were referring to as a hodl list. They're the blockchain projects that I look at, and a lot of value. It's not like just a list of names. It actually has explainer videos and everything, and the links that you need and everything. So just click on the link below. Also, if you want to find where I am, just search CryptoVeta. So that's CryptoVeta, and I do have a YouTube channel as well, so you can see some of my videos on there.
That's awesome.
And for Justin, before you go, what about my community? If they want to find you, how do they get to you?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter. I do lots of retweets mainly, but of projects and research. But Justin Wiesinger, WIE Singer, and then my YouTube channel is CryptoMedia, all one word. There's a big smiley face of me going like this in the video, in the little photo. So can't miss it.
Justin is also in the Academy, so he's in our community. So you can find him in the community.
So I'm really pumped to dive into the crypto trading course and the hodl list and all that. So well, thank you for the value that you add to the ecosystem of blockchain world, and thank you for helping people like myself learn more and educate myself as well. So I know we're going to have many more conversations, but I think for that, we'll leave it at that for today.
Okay. Have an awesome day, everyone. Take care.
Okay. Take care, guys.
Thanks for watching my dad's channel, CryptoMedia. Be sure to comment, and subscribe.